This week on the Steam Machine podcast, and remember, Gary loves you. Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always, the Spooktober.
What's up, everybody? It's Nate.
Hey, what's up? It's Willie. I forgot my name.
We're back a week later for some Spooktober spectacularness. And boys, what have you been up to this past week? Let's start with Wilster. Wilski, what you been up to, man?
Yo, so I finished Doom 2016 this week.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Finally, I went back and restarted the game and just played through it on Hurt Me Plenty because I realized I may have bit off a little bit more than I could chew and was trying to get a little too aggressive with it. Dude, the game is a lot of fun. Like, obviously, I don't need to tell you that, but I don't know, the more I got towards the end, the more I realized, they did a great job of adapting all these monsters, all these combat styles to the game, and I was just having a good time.
Oh yeah, dude. I love that game. Like, I can't believe I actually beat Doom 2016 like a year before you did.
I know, it's so weird.
Right. Yeah, it makes me curious about, is it Doom Resurrection?
Eternal?
What the fuck am I thinking of? Doom Resurrection?
I don't know, buddy.
Yeah, Doom Eternal. Because they added some things in that I've heard split the fan base, but everybody that I've actually talked to said it was awesome with the grappling mechanic and stuff. But I'm interested because I don't mind first person platforming when it's done well. So if they did it well,
I thought Doom 2016
I'm all
did
for
decently with the first person platforming. I was a little bit apprehensive about it at first when I realized there was going to be something in it, but I thought it handled it pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. I think that the just generally speaking, it added verticality to the Doom series in a way that I didn't think would work, and it did. It worked for me a lot.
Raise hell, praise Dale.
Praise Dale.
I also went back and played Chex Quest HD, which came out 2 months after Doom Eternal, and I regret to inform y'all that Chex Quest should not have gone to HD.
What the fuck is Chex Quest?
Bro.
Chex Quest.
This is the cereal game?
Yeah.
It is the cereal game, yes.
Gotcha.
There was a Doom Total Conversion that came out in 1997 or whatever that was free in cereal boxes for people that bought Chex. And it was Doom, but it was a lot of fun. And it was kind of beloved. And I really like it. But so I went and played the Chex Quest HD game. And one thing I do like is they added a lot of new characters because now you're not the Chex Squadron, you're the Chex Mix Squadron. So there's boy Chex, girl Chex, pretzel, and all the other ideas.
I want the weird pumpernickel piece.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. Yeah,
rye chip, yeah.
Yeah. Love those. Question for you, Willie, because you would know this more than me. Has anybody tried to take Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal and mod them to make original Doom maps in them for people to play?
There's something called Snap Map that I think came out in either Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal that does let you make new maps, but it's less flexible than the Doom mapping in earlier games.
I got you. I was just curious because I thought that might be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going through and doing E1M1 with the new graphics and stuff. It's a thought. I'm just saying we speak things into existence on this show. So if id Software is randomly listening, if you want to do Doom 1 and 2 and put them into one game and make it new style graphics, I'm sure people like Willie would spend money on it.
Oh, me.
But yeah, that's all. But Chex Quest didn't hold up, huh?
It's not that the original game didn't hold up. It's that it's a really klutzy conversion into Unreal Engine 4 that just unfortunately has really bad gameplay. They've based it on the original levels. It has the original music and all that. But it tries to use 3D platforming and all that. And it doesn't play very well, unfortunately. The combat is very slow and very shit. And it isn't fun to play.
The original Chex Quest, could you run that through was it Xenodrome?
Yeah, you could run it through Xandronum, you could run it through GZ Doom, you could run the original Chex Quest WAD through basically any of the major Doom source ports, and it moves really fast, and it's a lot of fun. And you can also do that with, Chex Quest 3, which came out not too long ago, and is also a really good experience, although I think that one is GZ Doom required, so you need to be either GZ Doom or Xandronum. I think it has to be a Z Doom version of Doom. So I don't think you could play that in like the classic Doom. But
that's all you had to say is that you need the Doom.
Just like. But yeah, I mean, I'm just having fun playing games, just out there. I also finished that one jigsaw puzzle I talked about buying like a couple of months ago.
Attaboy. Frame it, put it on the wall.
No, because there's like 3 pieces missing because I did it on the floor and I don't know where they got tracked to.
What about you, Nate?
Yeah, speaking of games, me and Willie played the first few missions in Halo 3 together. Had a really good time with that. It was really funny because, like, we spawned in and spawned me in as Master Chief. I was like, oh yeah. And then it spawned Willie in as the Arbiter, which I wasn't expecting. So that was really cool that we were Master Chief and Arbiter.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think that started in Halo 2.
Yeah. So, me and Nate have been playing a lot of online games together lately, so I probably should have also mentioned this during my spotlight, but, so I do not currently have the job I had earlier. My temp contract ran out, so I'm currently between jobs. So I got some daytime time. But yeah, so a little while ago, me and Nate were just like, yo, let's play some Halo games. And we tried to get Halo 1 working. It, had some technical issues, but we got Halo 3 working, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. So it was really cool to be able to do that on the PC, because, it's so nice playing mouse and keyboard on Halo.
Oh, yeah.
I am curious, what was the technical issue? Because I know, at least on Steam, you can download Halo 1 and not download the multiplayer part. So I don't know if it's the same way on Game Pass or if it just downloaded everything.
It downloaded everything with Game Pass.
Okay.
We did some research on it, and one thing that I found was a lot of people complaining that they had a lot of trouble getting Doom 1 and 2 to work co-op multiplayer. So I was like, hey...
Halo 1 and 2.
Halo... What did I say?
Doom.
You said Doom.
Oh, sorry. Halo 1 and 2.
It's the other helmet green guy.
Co-op multiplayer. So I was like... We were about to give up. I was like, Willie, let's try Halo 3 real quick, just to be sure. And then we tried 3, and it just loaded right in with no problems.
It was so fun, too, dude. We had a blast.
Well, I don't feel so bad about that ever since I figured out that there's really no bot system in Halo for some reason. I'm like, was that just a Counter-Strike thing? Am I just, was it just Counter-Strike and Unreal Tournament that you could just do bots? But I don't know. But,
yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like there are bots in, Halo multiplayer, so we couldn't just bring bots into Blood Gulch or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. But that is a series that is on the cusp. It's always on the cusp of me picking. But the thing with Halo is, in my brain, I'm like, okay, do we want to start with Halo 1? Or do we want to start canonically with Halo Reach?
Yeah.
And it's if we really want to go well, then I don't know if Nate would really enjoy these games. Do we want to go canonically? Because then those are the Halo Wars games, and those are Command and Conquer style games.
Yeah, Nate is not RTS.
No, RTS is not my thing.
Those are. I'll look up the lore. We can have a lore section about those when we do one of the first Halo games. Be like, here's what happened to these. Here's why we're here. Now we're here. All right. But yeah, canonically, Halo Reach is the. I believe is the first. It's either that or ODST. One of those two is the first Halo game. Yeah. Canonically, but of course, not the actual first game.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, for me, it was my birthday yesterday, and me and Kayla decided to celebrate it just get a nice hotel in Nashville and spend some time in the city. Go to the Nashville Predators home opener, which was a great time. It's been quite a few years since before the pandemic that I've gone to a live hockey game, and I was just like, God, I forgot how much I love this. I had such a good time. The Preds ended up beating the Seattle Kraken 3-0. The first goal was Sisson's got a shorthanded goal on the other team's power play, and it just was... Yeah. The crowd just exploded at that moment, and there's something that... I haven't been to a lot of big community events since the pandemic, and there's just something that happens to you when you're in a crowd of people that are all doing the same thing. something just changes in you mentally. And it was just really nice to experience that again.
It's also how mobs happen.
Yeah, I mean, that is very true, very true. But like, it's literally called the mob mentality. So
yeah.
So we had a really good
time. After that, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So we had a really good time at that game, and then the next day, because I've never been to one, and R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett, we went to Margaritaville, downtown Nashville, and let me just say, Margaritaville kind of sucks.
Please tell me you were there at the turn of the hour.
I wasn't, I don't think.
Oh, because every hour on the hour, they play, I don't know where I'm gonna go with the volcano blow. And there's a big volcano, at least at the one in Orlando, there's a big volcano that erupts margarita.
I didn't see a big volcano there, unfortunately. And like, the food was just like, if I'm going to be honest, at the level of, or maybe a step below, O'Charlie's. So,
yeah, it's mid.
Yeah, it's super mid. So I was like, I probably won't ever go again, but I'm glad I did go to Margaritaville once in my life. It felt like something I needed to do.
Please tell me you wore your Jimmy Buffett Crocs.
I did, of course.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Did you actually wear Jimmy Buffett Crocs to Margaritaville?
Yes, I did.
That rules.
That's fantastic. You know, the Walgreens that I used to work at, God, that feels good to say. We have Jimmy Buffett's last album that he released for sale up there. There's a bunch of them. I almost want to go buy one just because it's like, well, that's the last thing he ever did. Yeah. I'm going to keep this sealed on the shelf.
Then, yeah. So we had a really good time in Nashville. It was a great time. Literally, guys, for audience listening, I live a 40-minute drive outside of Nashville. We could have easily done both these things, but we just decided to get a nice hotel downtown and just kind of live the high life for a weekend. Just a good time. And then yesterday was my actual birthday. October 17th, Sonic Superstars came out. And yeah. I had that game pre-ordered, so they gave me a little pre-order gift, which was like this little acrylic stand with the Sonic crew on it. It's pretty cool. And then I played the game most of yesterday and today. I did beat the main game, and I'd say, guys, it's about as good as Sonic Mania. And if you guys know how I hold Sonic Mania in high regard, you know that means something coming from me. So, yeah, like, because you can play Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and then they added Amy as a playable character, and Amy's super fun to play as. And there's a secret fifth character that you unlock after you beat the game, and I won't say who they are, but it is not Shadow or Robotnik, so don't get your hopes too far up.
Boo!
But yeah, I really enjoyed that game, so I would highly recommend it. I got it for the Switch, by the way, because there's something about some games that just like, I don't want to worry about achievements. And I know a lot of people complain that Switch doesn't have achievements. Sometimes for me, that's a good thing.
Is it Vector the Crocodile?
No.
Okay.
Dude.
Also, after Nathan got back from the hockey game, he's like, do you know any cheap games on Steam that are like hockey games? And I'm like, no, but we could get Parsec set up and we could play some Blades of Steel on Parsec. And so me and Nate actually started playing NES emulation, and we were playing Blades of Steel, which I don't think we've ever played. I don't think Nathan's ever played Blades of Steel.
I don't think I have either.
And he actually whipped my ass like 4 out of the first 5 games.
I remember Ryan and I running into that issue because we really wanted a hockey game to play together, and we ended up both like he had the like NHL whatever year for his PlayStation 4, so I ended up buying that game as well so we could play it together. Because there's this weird thing where NBA games get released, 2K games get released on PC, NFL 2K games get released on PC, and FIFA games get released on PC. I'm sorry, excuse me, whatever it is, FC, whatever they changed it to, it's not FIFA anymore.
Yeah, I think it's Hockey AFC.
Hockey gets no love.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a few other that aren't coming to my mind right now, but like they don't come to PC.
Does Madden? I don't think Madden does either.
Madden, you can get Madden on Epic.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like the big 3. They don't bring over the others, and I guess it's because of sales or whatever the fuck. But it's like, dude, you will eventually pay off what you put into porting that game to PC because there is you don't have to put out a physical edition.
Yeah.
It costs you 0 fucking money to generate codes for this game, and it's pure profit. All you're gonna have to do is make up for the people that you paid to port the game. And pay them enough, please, to port it well.
Yeah.
Not like you fucking poured over the basketball games and that are always mixed reviewed. Like I've never seen one with positive reviews. It's just like, man. But then again, like 2K, they're money hungry anyway. Like even in the WWE games, as much as I love them, the whole like open these card packs and get these cards, and it's like, oh, you got a Ruby Seth Rollins and you can use it for 10 matches.
Yeah.
And then it goes away. It's like, dude, okay, so now I don't want to use any of my great cards. So I'm trying to go through and beat this shit with all my stupid cards because I don't want to use my good ones. You know why? Because I save all my potions to the end of the game.
I want to use my stone tier freaking The Miz.
Yeah. I'm going in here with like Humberto Carrillo trying to beat John Cena. And it's just, fucking 2K. But, real quick, while we're on the subject of wrestling games, I want you guys to know, I called it. I knew it. The review that I left on Wrestling Empire by M. Dickey is, this is better than AEW's game is going to be. Now, if you go on Steam and you compare reviews and current active players, I was right on both counts. I don't know what happened to AEW Fight Forever. That game came out, everyone was super hyped about it, and then like a month later, ain't nobody fucking talking about it or playing it. And I just don't know. I want to know what about it was. I mean, I know what I didn't like about it, but I want to know more like what the general consensus didn't like about it. So anybody listening, if you played the game, let me know why you love it. Let me know why you dislike it. I want to know why it fell off so hard so quickly.
So my understanding was it came out with like too few modes. It didn't even have
it's bare bones.
It didn't even have stuff you would expect, like full like length introductions with the characters and all that. And like it was like, I don't know. It seemed like they wanted to be promising that like we'll bring you back that N64 style wrestling style, and then I don't think they got it.
I know you have your opinions about M. Dickey himself, but like other than graphically, there is more to Wrestling Empire than there is to AEW Fight Forever, and that's just wild to me.
Believe me, my opinions about M. Dickey have nothing to do with what I think about his game development. Like he's a goofus, but I cheer for him. I want him to succeed.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just so strange to me that game just fell off so hard so quick, with their fan base being as rabid as they are, you know. But I digress.
Yeah, I just it wasn't that good of a game is the problem. Like, unfortunately, the game did not live up to what you wanted as an AEW fan. You weren't getting that. You wanted No Mercy. You wanted No Mercy, essentially. The promise was we're going to make No Mercy the computer game, and they
gave you Legends of Wrestling.
Yeah. Wow, that's unfortunate, but wow, that might be a little too far, but not too much too far. But yeah, I guess at least it was better than ECW Hardcore Revolution. It
was better than the ECW games. I will give you that. Anyways, sorry, Nate. I digress.
No, that's it for me, guys.
Well, Nate, also, I wanted to talk about parsecing games a little bit more. We did play some Blades of Steel, which was really fun. We also played Tecmo Super Bowl, which that was unfortunate.
That game's a dick, dude. Fuck Tecmo Super Bowl.
So what happened was I would deliberately pick it. We looked up a tier list so we could figure out, what teams are the good ones, where not so good, because I play the game more than Nathan does. And then the moment we started the game, his dude dropped the ball on the ground twice and just gave me 14 points of completely Nathan didn't control this touchdown points.
At which point the next kickoff I took, I just ran it back into my own end zone for a touchback because I was over it.
Also, the game counted as a safety because the rules are not explicitly done very well on the kickoffs. But yeah, it was rough.
I would still really like to try to get you guys one night and try to hook up that RetroArch net play. Just because it's that just opens up so many. I don't know how the parsec works. I'm sure it's relatively similar, but there's just so many systems on RetroArch that we could try different multiplayer versions of. Specifically, there's a PlayStation 1 game called Poi Poi that I would love to play with you guys.
I don't even... What's that?
Poi Poi? Dude, if a wacky Japanese TV show mixed with Smash Bros was a video game, it's Poi Poi. That's the only way I can describe it, dude. Look up it. I'll send a video to you, like a little quick review or something. It's ridiculous. It's weird. I'm not saying it's a good game. It's weird. I liked it growing up, but I can't say that it holds up. But I think it would be a fun experience.
Fair enough.
So I guess that just leaves me, eh? Start my new job next Tuesday.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
I'm nervous, but I'm also like excited at the same time. That being said, I did apply to this other place today as well. Just because it's a bit more money with also being full time. But I did that just because why not? But in my head, I'm like, this one I applied to is a warehouse gig, whereas this one that I'm doing is more so just like I clock in on my phone when I get to my first location and get to it. And it's like if my supervisor needs to call me and yell at me, I'm sure he will. But other than that, I'd be pretty much on my own, which sounds nice. Throw in my earbuds, do what I got to do, go home, make money. I have been playing some Final Fantasy 14. I got my Samurai to 90. I've been playing.
Mikolov?
Yep, I've been playing with old team Retrogue Mikolov. Been doing some PvP, and I'm trying to help him learn how to play his warrior. Got him all of the horse mounts, so he was able to go get Kirin, which is like the horse that looks like a Chinese dragon. It's super cool looking.
I'm glad you taught him how to mount a horse.
Yeah, you know I'm good at mountain horses. And now for something completely different. I've also been playing the absolute shit out of Stardew Valley.
I have seen that, actually.
I have just been having some mental rough stuff lately. And I was like, I need a very relaxed, calm, chill game to just play while I'm not diving into our game of the week. So I started playing Faith. I looked at the cover of Faith on the Wikipedia and I was like, I started playing Faith. Yes, that's the word I'm looking at. Brr. I started playing Stardew Valley. But I wanted a different experience because like I have it on Switch, I had it on PlayStation 4, and I've had it on Steam. I've never beaten it, but I've played it. You know what I mean? So I looked into the modding community.
Does it count as beating it if you beat it through a bunch of mods?
Well, it depends on the mods that you add. I don't particularly have cheat mods per se. So the mods that I went with are part of this collection of things called Stardew Valley Expanded. And Stardew Valley Very Expanded. So like it just adds a new little town called East Scarp. It adds Ridgeview up in the mountain. That's another town. I added an aquarium that you can get to via the train. So the fish you catch, you can go donate to the aquarium and they swim around in the tanks in there.
Oh, that seems nice. That seems like it should have been a feature in the first place.
Yeah, it's all stuff like that. Like I didn't go with like surprisingly there are a couple lewd mods for Stardew Valley. I looked at them and I'm like, I just don't think it's gonna fit in this cozy, comfy game. I don't need to see sprite titties. You know what I mean? I did, however, add a cannabis mod, so I can grow cannabis and hemp in my farms. So I actually have a big row of farms that's cannabis, coffee, cannabis, coffee, cannabis, coffee, cannabis, coffee, cannabis, coffee. So I'm like,
yo, can you still be some indica? That'd be nice.
Your pickup and your shield down. So I did end up going into looking and I found a better mod that has I can grow indica, sativa, hybrid, and then like actual strains.
That's cool.
Like and stuff. So I was like, oh, well, that's cool. But the fun fact about that is you can't go buy those seeds from the store. You have to buy them from the like I'll call it the medical building, like the doctor's office. And that store is only open every so often, like maybe once a week. So it's like you have to go in there and stock up. I went in there. I had 400,000 because I'm doing well. I had 400,000, and I went in there and dropped like 100K on weed seeds and went and put them in my trunk and everything. But like I got a couple cows now. My cows are named Nate, Willie, Adam, and Mikolov.
Nice.
Thank you.
So the TSMP group. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I just realized I quit out of the game and didn't say, but I did get a fifth cow named Jezza. But I need to go back and do that again, just to represent all my co-hosts. You bunch of cows. One of the mods that I have though takes all your livestock and changes them into Pokemon. So you're all Miltanks.
Nice.
Right? Oh, there's going to be a lot of background noise to edit. I'm leaving it in. But yeah, so like my chickens are like these little bird Pokemon that I don't remember the name of, but they're like little purple and they have like fluffy white around them. They're a newer Pokemon, which is why I don't know the name of them. It changed my cat into the not Eevee purple kitty looking thing, but the purple kitty
Purloin?
Yes. So that's the cat that I have that just walks around and chills at my farm now. I wish I'd have gotten a dog now because because in the beginning you have a choice, but what do you prefer, cat or dog? Because I think the dog gets changed into Arcanine.
Nice.
But unfortunately, so like, yeah, I've been really enjoying that. I've been thinking about starting a new farm and streaming it.
That'd be fun.
Either in the Discord or on Twitch. I thought about even maybe doing YouTube since we have the YouTube channel already. Yeah. And my Twitch is... Although I am at the point on Twitch where people can give me money if they want. So, there's always that. I'm always about that. Get that dollar, hustle. I've also had a weird... The only wrestling game I've been playing lately is Pro Wrestling Sim, which is an entire text-based thing, which there's no really reason to go into a bunch of details. But like I curated a hell of a roster, in my opinion, and a hell of a backstage talent team. And I'm currently competing with WWE and AEW as far as ratings and things like that go. So that's nice. I'm waiting for the crash because I know games like that will throw wrenches at you, and I just haven't gotten one. I'm waiting for it.
That's cool. So you're in like the new TNA position.
Yeah, TNA ain't got shit on me.
Nice.
But in a way, honestly, I kind of came in and went AEW with it. I gave myself a stack of quote unquote dad's money, right? And then I just got all of the best people that I love from all the different fucking people and paid them more to come work for me. And now I have this badass roster. I totally get why that happened in real life. Like it felt cool.
Yeah, it's what you do. I mean, if you could be Tony Khan, you probably would be Tony Khan if you could,
Yeah. I would make a few different decisions roster-wise, but yeah, on the whole, absolutely.
But the idea of being like the 100%. Guy that financed this company that's like Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and all of them, fucking Omega, you'd be like, yeah, you know what? I think we can make some money here.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up. What was it? I gave Daphne, my friend Brandy's daughter, her first guitar for her birthday.
Oh, no.
And I am super stoked about it. It was, I got her like a little 30, 32 inch acoustic guitar. It's got nylon strings, so it'll be easier on her fingers for learning and things like that.
That's cool.
And I haven't seen her. I mean, they've stopped by here, so I've seen her here, but like I haven't like gone over there since then. But I'd really I want to go over there and be like, let's play guitar. I know she's not old enough to actually like sit down and let me teach her things, but it'll be fun to sit there and quote play together. I think it'll be a good time.
Nice.
Maybe tune the guitar to some kind of like open tuning, so you could like do something more simple.
That's not a bad idea. But I also want to I want her to kind of get acclimated to how it is because open tuning is very different.
Yeah, you need her to get playing Smells Like Teen Spirit and shit. Yeah, I got you.
Or Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Smoke on the Water.
She probably already knows how to play Wonderwall. Come on.
I mean, I asked her if she did, and she said, I said maybe. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube. I found there's this weird channel called like Animan or something like that where they cover animes, and I'm just top 10 videos. I've just been watching that and learning new animes that I want to check out. I've been watching Johnny Chiodini stream. They are a fantastic streamer. The one that and the reason I bring this up is because they are the first person I've ever seen have a hilarious cutaway. And I sent a screenshot of it, and Johnny was streaming Stardew Valley actually, and the rooster went like, and he went, my, that's a deep-throated cockle on that rooster. And then he just went, oh, and he put his hand in his face, and he hits this button, and the screen cuts to, they hit this button, and the screen cuts to Johnny, and it's just a picture of his face looking kind of like disgusted and horrified, and it just says, I've just said something I really regret, or immediately regretted, or something like that. And I'm like, that is tremendous. And his little jazz music plays. I'm like, man, I wish I was like, I wish I had something set up that was easier to do transitions like that. Like, you know, like the little people have the little pad that they can just hit a button and it works. That would be cool. But yeah, so. Yeah,
I got that. I've definitely been watching like a YouTuber that I hadn't watched before until really recently, like this last week, because I was like dealing with the lost the job. I'm watching Tom Ska, not Tom Scott, but Tom Ska, which this dude has like his friends on a channel called Content, and they do like a bunch of like stupid games and stuff, and it's just like just been really fun. You know, I don't know. I feel like just little fucking YouTube things, you know, keep your brain going.
Yeah, for sure. And I discovered Johnny Chiodini because they are, excuse me, God, I gotta get used to that. They are the DM for the Ox Venture crew, which is the outside Xbox guys when they do their D&D. And he's got on his channel where he covers board games that he really loves. So
you're so 50-50 on getting the pronoun, dude.
Dane.
He's trying.
I know, that's the thing that he is trying to do his best. So I'm not trying to light him up. We're just like, dude, you got this. We believe in you.
I'm trying. Dane, I know you really love board games, so I will pop you a link to some of his stuff. Their stuff. Damn it. Their stuff. I'll pop you a link to some of their stuff, and you can check it out, because Johnny is very entertaining. I should just start the pronouns, pal. What's his name? God damn it. Pronouns. Who's he? Who's they? Who's she? Who's they? Vince McMahon, damn it. Yeah. Johnny is fantastic. But that leads me to, I had also stumbled upon a few months ago this video from a guy named Wendigoon.
Yeah.
And Wendigoon, I always say this, I gotta give him a shout out. I started watching Wendigoon when he was at like 10,000 subscribers. He is now at 3 million.
Well, we have discussed Wendigoon on this show before. Definitely, when we were talking about analog horror. We were talking about analysis of horror films before and things like that. This dude is really interesting because, like, he has this really, I don't know, I like watching his shit because it's definitely, he analyzes it, but he also has this, like, personal, what's the wording I'm looking for?
He's a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah, he has this Christian vibe to him that he's like, he really loves talking about the demonic and things like that because he like genuinely does kind of believe a little bit in that kind of devil and angel type stuff, which does make his view on these things interesting.
Yeah, and he's got a very wide array of things like he covers. Like he'll cover like our game of the week, which I'm about to touch on, but then he'll also, like, he's how I found out what SCP was at all. He introduced me to that. He's working on a fan-made Stalker film, like the Stalker games. Like they're doing a movie about that that was crowdfunded. He's got and he'll put up sermons, like Sunday school lessons that he would teach his kids. And it's like he's like, okay, I know I do horror stuff, but you also want to learn like crazy biblical stories. Like I do those too. He's a very positive guy. Like even if he's covering, because he's got like the disturbing movie Iceberg that he did, or the conspiracy theory icebergs that he did. He covers some really dark stuff, but he always tries to like make a joke about it or be positive or just say, this is terrible. He's a very relatable, genuine person. Yeah,
he seemed like a really just a really good dude, I feel like.
But I stumbled upon this video of his, and I have it pulled up so I can remember the name of it. And of course, I accidentally minimized that tab when I was trying to pull it up. The game, Too Scary for 3D. The hidden story of Faith, the Unholy Trinity. And it was funny because I bring this up because I posted about it in the Discord. I believe I talked about it on an episode. And Dane messaged me. He's like, I watched that video too. That shit's wild. And then Dane bought it for me. And he's like, just in case you guys want to do it for Spooktober. Thank
you very much, Dane, because this is extremely my shit as well.
Yeah, So it ended up being that we discussed what we were going to play for October, and this game came up, and everybody was genuinely like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm like, all right, that works out. So again, go check out Wendigoon. But our game of the week this week is Faith, the Unholy Trinity. It is a survival horror video game developed by Airdorf Games for the Windows. The game consists of 3 chapters. The first 2 were self-published by Airdorf Games in 2017 and February 2019, respectively, while a third was published by New Blood Interactive in October 2022 as part of Faith, the Unholy Trinity. stylized as Faith of the Unholy Trinity, but the T is a cross. A compilation of all 3 chapters with additional features. The game uses retro graphics similar to the graphics of an Apple II or Atari 2600. And the game's story is inspired by the satanic panic of the 1980s and 90s, where allegations of physical and sexual abuse in the names of Satan were made against teachers, schools, tabletop role-playing games, toy companies, heavy metal musicians, and television and film companies. You just want to go ahead and pause there? Okay. So based on that, and based on this cover, and seeing the Wendigoon talk about it, I was like, surely this is going to be a fantastic game. So I'm curious, without seeing the video, you guys kind of just came into this game. What were your first thoughts? Let's start with Nate, because I feel like Willie's going to have more to say for some reason.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good call too. So my first impressions were of like, oh, this really is leaning hard on the Atari graphics. Like, walked into it and started playing, and I was like, this is really interesting because I can tell this doing something completely different with what seems like very old technology. And one thing that really jumped out to me almost immediately was sound design, because the way that they imitated speech was super impressive to me for some reason. And then just the fact that all the background noises and music, like it uses basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Like not unlicensed music.
Public
domain music through the entire game, essentially. And it all really works surprisingly cohesively. Like, sound design in this game is A+. And then I was like, how the hell is this game going to do anything to scare me in any way possible? And then so I start playing the game, start walking through things. You notice you're this preacher with a crucifix, and that's basically all you have starting out in this game. And you start walking towards things, holding a crucifix up to it, finding little notes and things. Then I keep walking through the forest, and then I don't remember what this thing said, but this creepy, all white with red eyes, spider human thing jumps out at me. I'm like, holy shit. And I just start running. And like, I was like, oh wow, this game actually did creep me out within the first 10 minutes. Pretty good start.
I can quickly tell you what that thing says.
I think I know what it said.
It says, I have the body of a pig.
Yep.
It says multiple things. That's the thing. I'm not necessarily sure that's the first thing that it said to me when it ran on the screen.
The first one I heard that it freaked me out with was, I have the body of a pig. Because I even recognized that line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like all distorted and crazy because the way the audio works in this game.
Yeah.
And just to quick touch on, you're talking about how the sound design was so good. It was amazing to me that they were almost able to put emotion into generated, like it's not people talking, like it's computer generated.
Yeah.
So it's weird that they were almost able to evoke emotion through computer generation as far as vocalization goes. It was very impressive.
Because all the vocal tracks are like through some kind of like ancient, like early 1980s, like, you know,
yeah, for sure. Well, what was your first impressions going into this?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Couldn't be. Then who?
So what I thought was like, I just immediately got like right into the aesthetic of it. Like, this really dragged me in. I loved the audio. I think almost immediately starts playing like Moonlight Sonata, first movement, and I'm just walking through this forest and all that. And then I almost immediately also got killed. Like, I walked into the forest and just died in the first 5 minutes of the game. So, Mortis. Oh, actually, even before then, when you get to the title screen, the entire title screen is, it's all in ecclesiastical Latin.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you mouse over the option you're actually going to select, it tells you like what you're going to pick. Like, you don't until you select chapter 1. It doesn't say chapter 1. It says like capitulo unum. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was a really neat like idea. Like, you immediately get this feeling that you're like, I don't know, some kind of like Vatican priest, and it really starts you off early on with this very Exorcist vibe.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know you're a little overwhelmed. Like, it feels very much like The Exorcist inspired the beginning of the game. Oh man, I'm trying to think of what it was. I think it's actually a little later. Never mind.
But yeah, going into the game. So again, I started off with watching the video. It's like when I started watching Wendigoon talk about this, I'm like, how is this Atari 2600 ass looking game gonna be scary? I don't understand it. And then through watching the video, I got creeped out. So I'm like, all right, I can see it now. So we're going through and playing it. There was enough time between me watching that video for the first time and then loading it up to play it. That first chapter, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I didn't remember. And I was like, ooh. And there was a couple points that they jumped out and really freaked me out. So I was impressed that, again, kind of like Nate had mentioned that, like, I'm like, how is this gonna, I don't understand. I quickly understood.
Yeah. One thing to me in this game that I am very curious about, like, how faithful it is to technological limitations of that type of system. Could the Atari have produced sounds like this? And especially with the cutscene type things where everything, like, it kind of zooms up and it shows people moving, and it's very easy to recognize them as people and what they're doing and how they're moving. Could the Atari have actually pulled something like that off?
So I think that the main system this one was going for was less the Atari 2600 and more of a weird combination of, like, an Apple II computer and an Atari 8-bit ST computer. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do think that this game does some stuff that it was slightly out of pocket for, but not so much that it was, like, messed up. Like, even when it did, it had its own effect in the game, I feel like.
I can tell you just from watching the video that movement is rotoscoping.
Yes.
And the guy, Airdorf. Like, where's his name? Yeah, Airdorf. Most of those rotoscoped things are him and his family in their house, where he would just film them doing the things that they needed, and then he would go and draw and paint over them and then transpose that into the video game with rotoscoping. I don't know how that shit works, but it's really cool.
Yeah,
but it would be possible for some of those things to happen in, like, demos for those systems. Like, not in basic games, but, like, demos that were, like, trying to, like, expand what the system could do. Like, crack throws and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of, like, a Calibeth, as far as lines going, but it's got a lot more going on than that, because I know a Calibeth was super early.
Yeah.
But like Ultima 1, you know, like that, those early PC games, it's kind of got that vibe to it for sure.
Yeah, like I was super impressed by all of the what it did with the graphics, with what it was using, and the sound design. All of that really tied in, and they really pulled off some really cool spooky stuff with it.
I got jump scared a few times. I won't lie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think not choosing an exact aesthetic, it's not exactly a TRS-80, it's not exactly an Atari 2600, it's not exactly an Atari ST, it's not exactly an Apple II GS, but it's something, like, weirdly in between or whatever, means that when it does go from, like, the very limited animations of the overworld, which really felt like Apple II Oregon Trail to me. Mm.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I have 2 Easter eggs for you. For the beginning.
Oh no, I think I have one that you're thinking of as well.
So the first one that I have is, upon booting up the game, the Unholy Trinity, a fake loading screen appears with the text 666K RAM, 19870921 bytes free. 666, obviously, we all know what that is, number of the beast. And 19870921 represents September 21st, 1987, the date that Chapter 1 takes place.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Yep. The ending of Chapter 1, called The Hunter.
Ending number 4. Yep. If you get to ending number 4, which I did because I got all of the Chapter 1 endings.
If you shoot and kill the deer, it'll give you a message that says, typically deers yield 75 pounds of meat, but John can only take 25 back to his car. Yep. Which is a reference to the 1971 classic, The Oregon Trail. Yeah. Which is just... Man, I would love to play an Oregon Trail for the show. Maybe not the original, maybe like Oregon Trail 3 or 5, but like, it'd be fun.
I think it'd be fun to play like the Apple II version of Oregon Trail, because I think that's like one of the ones that's like more, you know, everyone's kind of there.
I also feel like that's also maybe one of those series where we could be like, we're going to cover the Oregon Trail, and we could just play all of them in 2 weeks because they're really, like, you play them for like an hour a piece, and you've seen what they got.
Sorry, I died of dysentery.
Yeah, I had a dysentery, man. Terry did not like that shit. He shot me right in the head.
You should not have dysentery.
You should not have dysentery. But yeah, so you play as a priest. I almost said pastor. A priest named John Ward in the game. And you are in rural Sterling, Connecticut, up there in Team Retrogue's area, to finish off a botched exorcism of 17-year-old Amy Martin. Exactly 1 year earlier, Amy killed her parents and John's superior father, Aura, during the exorcism ritual. And John was traumatized by the event. So, like, how much do you think that this game pulled from, like, the Exorcist movies? Because
that's
feel like
literally the Exorcist movie right there. Like, the younger father and the older father and all that going into the... Like, that was the immediate influence I took into that.
And it also, like, I guess, is more as the game progresses. It gives me very much the... I believe we talked about this in our DM chat. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Mm. It gives me big vibes from that, too. Where there are, like, multiple demons that you're having to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... So I know that you said you wanted a hard limit on where we stop talking about the story. So where would you like to cover up until?
I mean, I think that, okay, here's something that's important to note is that the first chapter, Capitula Unum, is literally available as the demo to this game. If you go to Faith the Unholy Trinity right now and want to download the game, you can download the demo of this for free and play the first chapter.
Yeah, and that one's just called Faith. Like, just straight up. I learned that, actually, from our new bot in the Discord, the How Long to Beat Discord, when I just typed in /HLT, or how long to beat, or whatever, exclamation, how long to beat, and then put in Faith. It just brought up Faith, and I'm like, well, that's not the game I'm looking for, but it looks kind of the same. Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, then... So Amy was incarcerated at Yale Psychiatric Institute for the murders, but she escapes 9 days before John's return. It's kind of the layout. And then so you go kind of approaching the house through some woods to start off. You're walking. And did either of you get lost at first?
I mean, it definitely took me a while to figure out where I was going, because like it's a very limited map that you have access to when you boot into the game, and it kind of just has a couple of key areas in it. Like, it'll take you to the well. I think it shows you that there's, from the east of the well, there's like a little outhouse. From the north of the well, there's a big house. And to the left, I think it's a graveyard. So...
I think from the left was the Amy Stone.
Oh, the tree. Yeah, you're right. So, it's a very limited map, but honestly, I just spent a lot of time just exploring. And so one of the main mechanics of this game is there's like key objects on some screens, and if you hold your cross up to it, it'll drop a note for you to read, and you kind of collect these notes to learn the lore of the game. So when I first started in, I was kind of just walking onto every screen I could and seeing what the main objects on those screens were and trying to get the lore from them.
Yeah, and some of them seemed like creepy, and then some of them that were just straight up odd. They all had to do with what you were talking about, or, you know, like what the game is getting at. But like the one that I found where it was like almost seemed like the 50s or 60s housewife talking about, like, I think my husband's over in India or whatever, and he sent home this weird doll. I think Anish at the book reading company's from over there. I'll ask her about it and everything. I'm like, dude, that is such a white woman in the 50s, 60s thing where it's like, hey, she kind of looks like she'd be from there. Let me ask her. Like, there's like random shit in there like that too, but some of those notes, man, like you read them, and they're specifically one, but there's later on. I don't want to touch on it now, but it's just fucking creepy. So is this this is the part where there's the well, correct? Where you having to go past that. So I got like to the point where I was kind of like walking around a little bit. I'm like, I feel like these screens are repeating themselves, right? Because they will do that. And eventually, I saw a deer run by, and I was like, I'm just gonna follow that deer. And I did for like one or two screens. And then I ended up finding the shed that I was looking for, because when you eventually approach the house, it tells you it's locked and you have to go and find the key. But if I wouldn't have been like, I'm going to follow that deer, I don't know if I ever would have walked right far enough to find that. I'd have been like, what the fuck is going on?
There's interesting things in the woods too, because like you'll see these silhouettes of these twins holding hands walking off the screen. And I spent a lot of time trying to follow them as well.
Oh, I did not see that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that would have been really helpful to know, because that That's plot.
Yeah. So you can see these two twins. I think they're like colored purple avatars because your guy's like blue, and there's like these two little twins that were holding hands and walking off screen a few times. And then, like Dalton said, there's some deer. And then, like we mentioned early on, the creepy white scary Spider-Man monster thing that chases you through the screen, which I didn't realize early on that if you held your cross up, you could scare him away.
Dude, so I want you to know the inner turmoil I had with telling you that. Because when you mentioned that you were having an issue there, I was like, do I tell him you can hold your cross up? And he's like, yeah, Dalton, I know, you fucking thanks for mansplaining it to me. Or does he genuinely not know that you can do that? And it was like a 50-50 of like, he'll figure it out. Or I went with I'll tell him just in case. And then you were like, oh, thank you. What the fuck? I'm an idiot. And I was like, all right, I don't feel so bad. It's like I helped him.
Yeah, it got me my first time, and the second time I tried holding up the cross, it was like, oh.
I think the thing I was struggling with is I was trying to flash the cross, like I kept mashing the button to hold the cross up, and not just like holding it like a priest would out at a demon. I don't know why I didn't think that.
Oh man. So I don't know how like in depth you guys went. So you go into the house, and I believe this is the one where you're wandering around. At least I wandered around everywhere, like, what the fuck? Where do I gotta go? And it's just, oh no, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. One of you go ahead. I've recently played chapter 2, and I'm remembering the beginning of chapter 2 in my head.
Yes, you finally do get into the house. Like, you've gotten all these notes and things, and you're starting to explore the house and stuff. And I can't remember the exact order you do things in, but like I said, we're not a complete plot point-by-point recap show. So, but eventually you do start getting this message that says, she is here.
That's right. And then you go up and she's in the attic. Mm-hmm. And that's your first boss fight. And so the boss fights in this game are weird. I mean, they're not bad, but they're weird. I don't know if we've mentioned yet, you could play this game on a fucking Super Nintendo controller. You could play this game on an NES controller. You could play this on an Atari joystick. You need to be able to move and press A. Yeah. That's it.
Well, you also need to be able to press start.
Yeah, so it wouldn't work.
Oh, okay, yeah. So a start. You got to reach around and hit it in the back button. But yeah, so like when you get to that first fight, I liked when she starts going into more of her mechanics. You know what I'm saying? When she's not just kind of chasing you. Like, when she's doing I think it was specifically the pentagram thing. I had a lot of fun with that section up there in the attic. Did any of the boss fights really jump out to you? Or,
So, I played the game. I did some of the optional stuff in the later chapters, and some of the optional chapter boss fights are kind of crazy, actually. But, no, generally speaking, I didn't immediately enjoy the combat.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of just like, don't get touched by the enemy and hold your cross up as long as you can and then run away before they touch you. And I get it, because of the way this game was designed and developed to be more like an old school game. There's only so many things that you could do with it, because it wasn't like a platform where you couldn't like jump on its head.
Yeah. But I'm also of the mind that this could have benefited maybe from being a walking sim.
Mm.
Like, I don't know if it necessarily needed the combat. If they could have,
I think that it did pick up like later on. The further you got into the game, I think it picked up the adventure game elements, and I think that helped a lot actually. Especially because that made it did contemporaneous things in the game with contemporaneous things that were going on in the world when this game took place.
Yeah, and I will say the thing about the game too is like the first chapter is very different from the second and third chapters, whereas like the first chapter is more like open world. You're kind of going around exploring until you find the house, and then you're kind of exploring the house. It's almost like a haunted house kind of thing when you get to there. The other chapters have, like, especially chapter 2, I felt like was extremely linear, where there was like one way to go the entire time, whereas the first chapter was a lot more exploration based. And I just think the game has its different levels. I think the game changes a lot once you get out of the first chapter and move into the next couple.
Yeah, I agree. I think all three chapters are very different from one another.
It almost feels like chapter 1 was like a proof of concept, and he kind of built.
I think so too. I think he probably put that first chapter out. I don't know this because I don't know the timeline. If he maybe put that one out as a demo first, and then built the other 2 chapters.
Each of the capitula were released separately.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
The first 2 were self-published, and then the third one was put together by New Blood as a trilogy release.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay. So, final thoughts?
Yeah, so what I'm thinking about this game is I think what it did exactly what it set out to do. I think it's super interesting. I think narratively it's pretty interesting. Spooks-wise, surprisingly high quality. I was really impressed by all that. And like I said before, sound quality and just overall design of this game is immaculate. Which brings me to number rating. That's a hard question to answer on this one. Because like we talked about previous episodes, what's the ceiling and the floor for this kind of game? And I went up pretty high for Dredge, which I said was approaching the ceiling for what that game could have been. And I think this is another one that approaches the ceiling for what it's set out to do. I think overall, gameplay-wise, and through all that, it's still a little bit below Dredge for me, but it's not too far off. I want to give this game super high praises, and this is like the highest possible 7.5 crucifixes out of 10 capitulums you could give something.
Word.
I really think that the weird fake video game console that this game created is so interesting, where it's like something so far beyond like an Apple II computer at times, and then suddenly it's an Atari 2600 at times too, but it never feels that inconsistent. It just feels like it's like using what it needs to for the scares. Like, that really impressed me, because I've been very, very low on games that use inconsistent pixel art before, but I think what this game does is it tries to use that era, and like even in the dialogue of the game, like it uses words that have not been used since the 1980s. I don't want to use any of the ones in particular, but it definitely says some things. I think I mentioned one to Nathan earlier. And I really thought that this game was a fantastic, the 80s thing that could ever 80s while looking like a possessed game from the 80s. And I think it is incredibly easy for me to give it 19 capitula out of 10.
19 out of 10?
That's like 9 out of 10.
I was like, damn.
Wow.
No, not 19. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
I enjoyed the game. I thought it was really cool. Art style was definitely something that took me some getting used to, but I enjoyed it for what it was. The rotoscoping was something that I thought was very, very cool.
I really did appreciate that the moment I started thinking the art style resembled Oregon Trail, I ran into an ending that did an Oregon Trail joke. Like, that made me very happy.
But I enjoyed watching the video about it more than I enjoyed playing it, to be completely honest with you. So I'm gonna give it just a solid 7, because I respect what it is, but I can't give it higher than that.
Fair enough.
All good.
All right, then we on to fan question.
Yeah, let's do it to it. So we only have a few this week, which is okie dokie. This first one comes in for...
Oh, can I also mention that I ran into 2 different Dusk Easter eggs in the game, and one of them was from Part 2, which was before New Blood actually picked it up and published it.
All right. So our first question comes in from Master Loot. Which international day of blank days do you celebrate? For me, it's hard enough to get me to celebrate a real holiday, so fake holidays I pretty much completely ignore. I don't really subscribe to any of them. I guess I do enjoy the goofy ones, like March 10th, Mario Day. I kind of like that one.
Yeah, the only one that I don't even know the date of it, but when I know that it's that day, I'll do it, is Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yar.
Talk Like a Pirate Day, yeah. I don't know if you guys realize this, but October the 24th is Call Nathan a Bitch Day, and I think you guys need to celebrate in our chat. So when October the 24th comes up, just everyone call Nathan a bitch.
Fair enough. All right. This next one comes in from Kana. Describe your favorite video game horribly.
A man that is very upset about a rabbit looks for elevators.
Possessed children kill God.
Which JRPG is that?
I'm not going to specify because I don't want to spoil anything.
Oh, man. Japanese gangster set up for crime he didn't commit.
I mean, that's actually a pretty good description of the game.
You know what?
Unless that was supposed to be like Donkey Kong. If that was Banjo-Kazooie, you did a great job.
Quickly, speaking of Japanese gangsters, there is an anime that exists that is about 3 Yakuza members who fail their boss. And their boss is like, gives them 2 choices. You can die, or we can send you to Bangkok. You can have sex reassignment surgery, and you guys can now be pop idols. And I'm like, what a weird concept. Who came up with that?
That is
what
odd.
on earth? That's some anime for you, dog.
Anime going to anime. All right. And our next one from the dude, Master Loot. What do you see as a footman's mound? Something that people unjustly exploit for sympathy in the 21st century. He included an image with a definition of footman's mound. Literally an artificial sore applied to the back of a beggar's hand of unslaked lime, soap, and rust. Figuratively, faking or exaggerating injury in order to invoke sympathy.
Gaslighting.
I mean, it's very much gaslighting, but I think that this is just straight up the antecedent of, like, people gaslighting on, God, what's that site called? Not Kickstarter.
Oh, GoFundMe.
But it's a very similar... GoFundMe, thank you. Yeah, there are a lot of people that do horrible things on GoFundMe with, like, you know, completely false stories. And that sucks ass because there's, like, a lot of really reasonable people on it that have used GoFundMe before.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just this practice of panhandling in general, like, there are professional panhandlers out there that draw upwards of 6 figures a year standing on the side of the street begging for money, pretending to be poor. Like, it's literally a thing that still happens.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up, man, because people like that prey on empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being an empathetic person, I think people like that should die.
Yeah.
Wow.
Extreme. All right. And I guess this last one comes in from our very own Mikolov Team Retrogue. Check him out on YouTube. Do you know what Owo speak is? And give us your best impression. Uwu? That was mine. I'm done.
Oni-chan, you wanna play some PvP with me?
Oh, no.
Oni-chan? Oh, you're so cute in your widow dress. Oh, look at you, oh, you're just so pretty. Oh, my goodness.
Look what you did, Mikolov. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Mikolov-senpai, why won't you look in my eyes?
Because my tits are out, woo-woo.
Uwu.
Oh, don't you know?
All right, I'm done.
I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I couldn't. They did too much. Dalton's was too troubling, and Nathan's was too accurate. And I don't have a. I thought I was going to be the funny one. Actually, you know what? I'm still going to do it. Team Retrogue-san impregnated. There we go. Let's go. Game over.
Baby inside his pussy.
Thank you, Mikolov, you son of a bitch.
All right, you pervert. You didn't even pay for that.
We might need a few Raise Hill Praise.
I mean, I guess you paid for it by hearing it. I'm hoping that you paid for it by hearing it and you didn't enjoy it. I hope that you hated every second of that. I hope everyone listening hated it. Can we put all that in Patreon? Because I really don't know if I like that reaction show.
That is too bad, because you do not edit.
Boy.
Yeah. Give me 4 Raise Hail Praise Dales. Retrogue. You're the first person to have to do that twice. We're going to need 4. 4 from you. Make that 5. All right. I guess that just leaves house cleaning, eh?
Yeesh.
I guess I should pull up the thing that I need for it. Professionals. If you would be so kind as to leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify, that would be awesome. 5 stars preferably. If you want to join the Discord where you can find all the shenanigans happening, it is bit.ly/TSMP Discord. If you want to check out the website, it is bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast. And the Discord link, all capital letters. Patreon, if you want to donate to the show and give me some gas money to help me start off on this new job, patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. Shout out to YabsPod, yet another BS podcast. Shout out to JRPG Report. Merch link, tsmpproductions.threadless.com. And I do want to give a special shout out to these wonderful people that donate $10 or more each and every month to the show. Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper. Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube himself. Ariesoradam, shout out to his podcast and blog in the Discord, Revival and Extinction. James, the Steam Machine, home on a hall. Team Retrogue, go check him out over on YouTube. Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, thank you for catching up the website. And Shad the Mad Lad, no goddamn C in his last name, Shaffer. Boys, our next game is Phasmophobia. And we are revisiting that. We should have a guest one day from Tadpog on that episode if things work out. If not, we'll still probably play some games with him anyway.
We actually asked him about that?
we've had that conversation with him. And then,
okay, cool.
So we need to set up some nights in the next week to play some Phasmophobia.
Let's roll.
But we'll figure it out. But until then, everybody do me a solid and take it easy.